That person who thought they could play you, who left you hanging, acting like they didn't need you, they're going to regret it deeply. But only if you make one powerful move. One move that turns everything upside down. So what is it? You stop playing their game. You stop chasing, stop bending, and stop breaking your back for someone who never deserved that version of you in the first place. Trust me, the moment you reclaim your power, they'll feel the absence like a punch to the gut. Right now, they think they've got you wrapped around their finger. They believe you're waiting on the sidelines, hoping and praying that they'll finally realize your worth and come running back. But here's the hard truth. They already know your worth. They've known it from the beginning. They're just pretending, stringing you along, keeping you as their safety net, and you've been letting them. How does it feel to realize they've been playing you? Knowing you've been out here thinking it's just a matter of time, when in reality, they're counting on you never waking up and realizing your own power. But here's the good news. You're about to flip the script. No more playing by their rules. The moment you stop feeding their ego, the moment you stop chasing their breadcrumbs, they're going to feel it. And it's going to hurt. It'll hit them hard when they realize you've pulled the rug out from under them. Here's what you need to understand. The more you chase, the less they value you. You're giving them control, letting them believe they can come and go as they please, while you're left feeling powerless. But when you stop, when you pull back and start investing all that energy into yourself, everything changes. They'll feel your absence like a black hole, pulling them into regret, second-guessing every move they made. Now, you hold the power. You see, it's not about the texts you send, the words you speak, or the things you do in an attempt to win them back. No, it's all about what happens when you're not there. It's what you do when they can no longer feel your presence. That's when they'll begin to notice. That's when the doubt sets in. Why aren't you calling? Why aren't you texting? Did they mess up? Did they lose you for good? That's the fear that'll keep them awake at night. And when it hits them that they can no longer manipulate your emotions, when they finally understand you're no longer the puppet they used to control, they'll come running back. But here's the kicker. By then, you won't be chasing after their validation. You won't need it. You'll be so deeply immersed in your own growth, on your own path, that they'll be the ones trying to prove themselves to you. Just think about it. The person who once thought they could walk all over you, who believed you'd always be there no matter what, now they're the ones scrambling for your attention. That's what happens when you reclaim your power. That's what happens when you stop running after someone who's been treating you like an afterthought. Because let me tell you, the moment you stop caring about what they think, they'll start caring a lot about what you think. The tables turn, and you'll find yourself in control. And here's the wild part. They will come back. And they'll come back strong, showing up in ways you never imagined because they're terrified of losing you for good. But by that point, you'll have grown into someone who doesn't even need them anymore. You'll have reclaimed your life. You'll be walking in your own power. And trust me, that's magnetic. That's what pulls people in. It's not the chasing, the begging, or the hoping. It's your confidence, your self-assurance, your ability to stand strong without needing their validation. So let me ask you, are you ready to make them crawl back to you? Are you ready to flip the script so hard they won't even know what hit them? If you are, here's what you need to do. Stop chasing. Stop handing over your power. Start focusing on yourself, your growth, your confidence, your life. Let them feel the void when you're no longer there to feed their ego. This is where Stoicism comes into play. Stoicism teaches us that true strength doesn't come from controlling others, but from mastering ourselves. It's about realizing you can't control their actions, but you can control how you respond. And when you respond by pulling back, focusing inward, and elevating your own self-worth, that's when you become unstoppable. Want them to regret leaving? Want them to crawl back? Then become the person they regret losing, not through words, not by chasing, but through action. By becoming so focused on your growth that they have no choice but to look at you in awe. And the best part? When they do come back, and trust me they will, you'll have the choice is yours. Whether they're worth your time is up to you. You're the one in control, not them. And trust me, once you've gone through your transformation, they'll realize they were never in control to begin with. So if you're ready to reclaim your power, if you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming, drop a comment below with the words, "I'm done chasing." Let's show them. Let's make them feel the weight of their mistake. And when they come crawling back, it will be on your terms. If you're ready to stop being an afterthought and start commanding the respect and attention you deserve, this is only the beginning. Subscribe now, because here, we don't just survive relationships, we master them. You're the one holding the power, and with each video, you'll learn how to reclaim it. Don't miss out on the tools, the mindset, and the strategies to have them crawling back to you. Hit that subscribe button and step into the version of yourself they'll never forget. This is your journey to control. Let's walk it together. Step 1. Craft a new identity. Crafting a new identity is the cornerstone of making them come back crawling to you. This isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that they never expected. A version of you that's so confident, empowered, and untouchable, they'll regret ever letting you go. People fall into patterns. They think they know you, how you think, what you'll do next. But when you craft a new identity, you shatter their expectations, forcing them to see you in a whole new light. Imagine you're a book. They think they've read it cover to cover, believing they know every page, every chapter, every plot twist. Then suddenly, they pick it up again and realize there are chapters they never even knew existed. That's what crafting a new identity does. It disrupts their narrative of you, the person they thought they could predict, control, or take for granted, now replaced by someone far more intriguing. That's where your power lies. How does this make them crawl back to you? When you transform, they no longer recognize the person they left behind. The version of you they felt comfortable with, the one who was predictable, maybe even dependent, is gone. They're now faced with someone mysterious, someone they need to figure out all over again. This shift drives them crazy because it flips the dynamic. They go from being in control to feeling uncertain. And uncertainty? That's powerful. It creates a need to chase, to win you back, to solve the puzzle of who you've become. The Stoics believed in transformation through self-discipline and self-awareness. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What does that mean for you? By consciously choosing to shift your thoughts, your habits, and how you present yourself to the world, you become someone new. Your energy changes, and that change is palpable, especially to those who thought they had you all figured out. By crafting a new identity, you're not just playing a game of perception, you're evolving. You're leveling up, becoming someone they can no longer control or dismiss. But how do you craft this new identity? It starts with letting go of who you were. The version of you that was emotionally attached, always seeking their approval, and constantly worrying about their opinion. You need to shed that skin and rebuild yourself, piece by piece. First, evaluate the areas in your life where their perception of you dictated your actions. Is it the way you dress? The way you speak? The way you prioritize their needs over yours? Strip all that away. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? Not for them, but for you. For instance, in a relationship, you might have become the person who always compromised, who dimmed their light to make the other comfortable. But when you craft a new identity, you stop bending. You stand firm in who you are, unapologetically. When they see that shift, when they see you living boldly and confidently without needing their validation, it triggers fear in them. Fear that they've lost something valuable, something they didn't appreciate until it was too late. And that's when they start crawling back. Now, let's be real. Crafting a new identity isn't easy. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You'll question yourself, and it might even feel like you're faking it at first. But understand this, growth is supposed to be uncomfortable. When you're shedding the old you and stepping into something greater, resistance is inevitable. That's where the magic happens. The discomfort you feel is a sign that you're moving in the right direction, that you're breaking free from the mold they put you in. Think of it like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It doesn't just wake up one day with wings. It goes through a tough transformation, but the end result? That's where the beauty lies. Requires time and patience, but when it emerges, it's something entirely new. Something unrecognizable from what it once was, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're becoming unrecognizable to the person who thought they knew you. You're evolving in ways they never imagined, and they won't be able to ignore it if at any point this feels difficult. Remember this, you're not doing this for them, you're doing it for you. Yes, the byproduct is that they'll come crawling back, but the real victory is in becoming someone you're proud of, someone who doesn't need to chase or beg for attention, someone who commands respect by simply being true to who they are. And trust me, when you do this, when you fully embrace your transformation, they will feel it, they will feel the loss, and it will be their loss to deal with. So if you're ready to take this step, I need you to embrace it fully. Don't half-step it, don't dip your toes in the water, jump in with both feet. Craft a new identity that makes them question everything they thought they knew about you become so unshakable, so confident that they can't help but come crawling back desperate to figure out how they lost you in the first place. This is just the first step. We're only just beginning. You can't expect to move the needle with just one step, so kill those thoughts of clicking away. Stay with me because we're going to keep building step by step until you've completely transformed into someone they can't ignore, someone worth chasing. Accept the challenge, commit to the process, and become the person they regret losing. If you're with me, if you're ready to step into your new identity, drop a comment below with the affirmation, "I'm becoming the person they'll regret losing." Let me know you're ready to craft this new version of yourself. Stay with me till the end. We've only just begun this journey, and together we're going to transform your life. Number 2, change your energy field. Changing your energy field is one of the most powerful moves you can make to shift the entire dynamic in your favor. It's not just about pulling back or being silent, it's about completely altering the emotional energy you project into the world, especially toward that person who took you for granted. When you change your energy field, you shift from a state of neediness, desperation, or longing to a place of calm-centered power. This is where the real magic happens. People are drawn to strength, mystery, and independence. The moment you stop needing someone's validation to feel whole is the moment they begin to crave your attention. It's a universal law. When you stop chasing, they start chasing you. This isn't just theory, it's how human psychology works, and it's rooted deeply in Stoic philosophy. Epicus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. That's the essence of changing your energy field. You may not be able to control what they do, whether they pulled away, lost interest, or are playing games with your heart, but you can control how you respond, and that response doesn't have to be reactive, emotional, or weak. It can be strong, deliberate, and transformational. When you change your energy field, you shift from external validation to internal mastery. You become untouchable, and that shift will make them come crawling back, wondering what happened to the person they thought they had figured out. So how does this work? Think of your energy as a radio frequency right now. If you're feeling anxious or desperate for their attention, you're broadcasting that on a subconscious level. They can feel it even if you're not saying it out loud. That's why they pull back. They sense that neediness and it repels them. But the moment you change your energy, when you stop broadcasting need and start radiating confidence and independence, everything changes. It's like switching to a different station, one they can't tune into anymore, and it drives them crazy. Now they want to figure out where you went, why you're not on their wavelength anymore, and that's what pulls them back toward you. Let's make this even clearer with a relationship example. Imagine you've been in a situation where someone you care about starts pulling away. They're less responsive, less attentive, and you start feeling that panic rising inside of you. Every instinct tells you to do more, to text them, call them, ask them what's wrong, but that's the old energy field. That's the energy of trying to get something from them, and it only pushes them further away. Now imagine if instead you shifted your energy, you stop chasing, you stop needing them to validate you, and you begin focusing on yourself. You start living your life for you, pouring your energy into your growth, your goals, and your happiness. Suddenly, without saying a word, your entire energy shifts. You're no longer the one trying to get something from them. You're radiating confidence, self-worth, and peace. Do you know what happens? They feel it, they sense that shift, and it makes them wonder. Now they're the ones feeling insecure, they're the ones thinking about you, wondering why they aren't the center of your attention anymore. What if it feels difficult to change your energy field? That's normal. It's hard to shift from a place of emotional attachment and longing to a place of inner strength. But here's the key, it's all about practice. Every time you feel that urge to reach out, to check in, or to cling to the past, remind yourself that your power comes from within. Like the Stoics taught you, are in control of your reactions, not anyone else. Every moment you resist the temptation to fall back into old patterns, you're strengthening your new energy field. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. A great metaphor for this is a magnet. When a magnet loses its charge, it can't attract anything. It's just a piece of metal, but when it's charged with energy, it pulls everything for it effortlessly. That's you right now. If you're running on empty, desperate for someone else to fill you up, you've lost your magnetic charge. But when you shift your energy, when you start fueling yourself from within, you become magnetic again. You won't have to chase anyone. They'll feel your energy shift, and they'll be drawn to you like a magnet because they can sense the power and confidence radiating from you. This step, changing your energy field, is the foundation of everything, but it's not a quick fix. It's a transformation, and you have to be committed to this change. If You're serious about making them come crawling back to you. You need to embrace this fully. It's not just about one step. It's about an entire shift in how you show up in the world, in how you carry yourself, and in how you handle your emotions. This is just the beginning, but it's the most crucial part. If you change your energy, everything else follows. But let me be clear, you can't move the needle with this step. Only changing your energy field is powerful, but it's only the start. If you want real results, if you want them to truly feel the absence of your presence and come crawling back, you have to stick with me through every step of this journey. Kill those thoughts of clicking away, because this isn't a magic trick. This is a transformation, and you're either all in or you're not. To transform your entire life, to become the person they can't stop thinking about, to be the one worth chasing, you need to take on this challenge fully. You need to commit to these steps one by one without holding back. Drop a comment below with the affirmation, I am stepping into my power, to show me you're serious, that you're here for the long haul. This is just the start, the first step in a bigger journey, but if you truly embrace it, I guarantee you they'll feel the shift and they will come crawling back. So let's get started. Stay with me, and together we'll change everything. Number 3. Invoke the scarcity principle in reverse. When we talk about invoking the scarcity principle in reverse, we're stepping into the realm of power and control. In relationships, the scarcity principle usually means that the less available something is, the more we value it. Now imagine turning that around, but instead of using scarcity to chase them, you create scarcity around yourself. You make you the rare and valuable prizes that they begin to crave. This isn't about playing petty mind games. It's about a shift in your behavior and energy that forces them to recognize that they are missing out on something unique and irreplaceable. You, in the context of a relationship, when you're always available, always there to pick up the phone, to show up, or to give attention, you become predictable. You become a given in their life, something they expect will always be there. And here's the truth, we never value what is always accessible. That's why you need to pull back, make yourself rare. You have to create a sense of loss before they even realize what's happening. When you stop being readily available, when you no longer fill every gap in their life, that's when they start to feel it. The scarcity principle in reverse isn't about vanishing completely, but about mastering how to show up less and in more powerful, strategic ways. It's not easy, I get it, when you've been used to chasing or being emotionally available. Pulling back can feel uncomfortable, but remember what Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your strength doesn't come from how much you can give to someone else, but from how much you can hold back and let them come to you. You're not losing them by stepping back, you're forcing them to question what they're losing by not having you as a constant in their life. Let's look at this in a relationship context. Say you've been in a situation where you're always initiating contact, texting first, calling, making plans. You're doing the emotional heavy lifting, but what happens when you suddenly stop? When you don't initiate, that gap, that sudden absence of attention will hit them hard. They'll wonder where you went, why. The dynamic has shifted, and they'll start missing the attention they once took for granted. This creates a psychological loop where they begin to seek out the very thing they once felt indifferent about. Think of it like water in the desert. When you're always there, you're like water in an ocean, plenty of it, no urgency. But when you come scarce, you're the last drop in the desert, something they now have to work for, something that's worth everything to them. You have to make them realize that your attention is a luxury, not a given. If you're finding this difficult, if it feels uncomfortable or unnatural, that's normal. It's hard to break old patterns, especially when you've been conditioned to think that more is better. But trust me, the comfort is worth it. It's through scarcity that you reclaim your power. When you're not readily available, you become mysterious, and mystery breeds attraction. They will come back, and they'll come back crawling when they realize the void you've created by pulling back. Now, I want you to really let this sink in. This isn't about cutting them off completely. It's about strategic distance. It's about knowing your value and making them work to experience it. This is the first step to transforming not only your relationship, but also the way you see yourself. You are the prize, and if they don't see that yet, they will, but only if you take this step seriously. Number 4. Challenge their ego. Challenging someone's ego is one of the most powerful moves you can make in reclaiming your power and flipping the dynamic in your favor. The ego thrives on control, validation, and feeling superior. By subtly challenging their ego, you are shaking the foundation they've built around your relationship, making them question their own significance. When you remove the power they believe they have over you, it creates a void they feel compelled to fill. This psychological shift is key to making them come back crawling. What does it mean to challenge their ego? It's not about direct confrontation, or making them feel small. It's about subtly withdrawing the validation they've grown to expect from you. Their ego is built on the idea that you'll always be there, that you'll always seek their approval, and that they hold control over your emotions. By taking that away, you're forcing them to face a reality where they're no longer the center of your world. This shakes their confidence and sparks a desire to reassert their importance in your life. As Stoic philosopher Epicurus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In this case, the reaction they expect is for you to continue chasing, but when you don't, it throws them off balance. This tactic is incredibly useful because it taps directly into their need for validation. People with big egos expect to be catered to. They thrive on admiration and attention. When that attention is removed, it causes a psychological shift. They begin to question their own value and, more importantly, why you aren't playing into their game anymore. By challenging their ego, you become the unsolved problem they need to fix. Suddenly, they feel compelled to re-earn the place in your life they once took for granted. Let's take an example in a relationship. Imagine someone you've been with has always assumed that no matter what they do, whether they pull away, emotionally take you for granted, or neglect your needs, you'll always be there. They've gotten comfortable because they believe their presence in your life is secure. Now, instead of reacting the way they expect, chasing after them, seeking validation, asking for attention, you go silent. You focus on your own life. You don't get upset when they ignore you. You don't ask why they're pulling away. That shift in behavior sends a loud and clear message. You no longer depend on their approval. This hits their ego hard. They start to wonder, why aren't you chasing them? Did they lose their grip on you? They'll begin seeking your attention because their ego can't handle the idea of not being in control anymore. Challenging someone's ego can feel difficult, especially if you're used to seeking their validation. It might feel uncomfortable at first to not give in to the urge to explain yourself or react to their behavior, but remember, the discomfort you feel is temporary, and it's a necessary step toward reclaiming your emotional power. The Stoics teach us to embrace discomfort as part of personal growth. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What feels difficult now is exactly what will free you. Think of it like this: their ego is a castle they've built, towering and seemingly impenetrable, but when you stop giving it attention, when you stop laying bricks for them by seeking approval, you're quietly dismantling that castle brick by brick. Eventually, they'll be standing in the ruins of their own ego, realizing when they no longer have your validation, they lose their foundation, and that's when they'll return, desperate to rebuild what they've lost. So here's your next move. Embrace this step with confidence. Stop feeding their ego, and stop giving them the validation they've come to expect. Take back your power by showing them that their place in your life is not guaranteed. You hold the control. When you challenge their ego, you plant a seed of doubt in their mind. That doubt will grow, pulling them back to you, craving the validation they once took for granted. Embrace the discomfort, embrace the silence, and watch as they come back, realizing they never had the upper hand. Number 5. Make unpredictability your signature move. To truly make them come crawling back, unpredictability must become your secret weapon. When used wisely, it's a powerful tool in relationships. Why? Because humans crave certainty, routine, and comfort. The moment someone becomes predictable, the spark begins to fade. Predictability is boring, and boredom kills attraction. However, when you introduce unpredictability into your life, you become a puzzle, something they can't easily solve, and something that keeps drawing them back. So how do you make unpredictability your signature move? It's not about playing mind games or manipulating emotions. It's about shifting your energy in ways they don't expect. One day you're engaged, the next you're calm and distant, not out of spite, but out of control and mastery over your emotions. One week you're available, the next you're fully immersed in yourself, your projects, and your life. This inconsistency becomes intoxicating because they never know which version of you they'll get. If you've always been predictable, always chasing, always reaching out, they grow used to your behavior. But when you suddenly shift, stop chasing, and start focusing on your personal growth, it throws them off balance. They wonder, what happened? Did I lose them? That uncertainty drives them crazy, forcing them to come back, desperate to understand what went wrong. For example, if you've always been the first to text, always available, they've come to expect it. But when you stop, when you no longer initiate, they'll notice immediately, and it'll eat at them. They'll realize they no longer have control over you. That's when they'll start coming back, trying to regain what they've lost. If unpredictability feels difficult, especially if you're naturally consistent and reliable, remember this isn't about abandoning your true self. It's about evolving. You can still be kind, caring, and authentic, but now you're showing a new version of yourself, one that doesn't bend to their expectations. Remind yourself of the bigger picture. You're reclaiming your power. This isn't about punishing them, it's about elevating yourself. They need to feel the distance, the mystery, the change. That's what makes them realize what they've lost. Think of yourself as the wind. The wind is never static. It can be soft and gentle one moment, then strong and forceful the next. It moves and changes direction, and no one can predict its next move. Be like the wind, flowing, adaptable, never letting them know exactly where you stand. This fluidity keeps them intrigued, wanting more, and desperate to keep up. Now is the time to fully embrace unpredictability. It's not just a tactic, it's a transformation. Make unpredictability your signature move, because that's how you regain control over your relationships and your life. The moment you stop being the predictable, easy option, you become someone they must work for, someone they crave. Remember, they'll come back crawling when they realize you're no longer the person they thought they had figured out. You are the wind. You are unstoppable. Now, make them feel it. Number 6. Activate their fear of missing out, FOMO. When you activate their FOMO, you make them realize that life without you is something they can no longer take for granted. People crave what they don't have, and when you pull back just enough, when you stop being so available, they begin to feel the void. Suddenly, they wonder what's happening in your world, what they're missing, and who's occupying the space they once held. This fear gnaws at them, pulling them toward you like a magnet, desperate to reclaim the attention and connection they once had. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you embrace this, you shift your focus from obsessing over them to investing in yourself. You become the prize they fear losing. This isn't about playing games. It's about controlling your own narrative. Live your life fully and unapologetically, but don't overshare. Let them catch glimpses of your evolving world, your new passions, your self-discovery, just enough to trigger their curiosity. The gaps in the story will drive them to crave more. Fear is a powerful motivator. Think of it like a beautiful house you're building, brick by brick. Once it's finished, they'll be standing outside, realizing they no longer have the keys.